So I am back home after running the Baltimore 10 miler, and I want to share some of the lessons that I learned coming out of this race. Well, first thing, let me say, I honestly believe that I enjoy running because running to me is training ground on how to do life effectively. I think on each race, there are always lessons learned. And this particular race reminded me that life is going to throw us curveballs at any given moment. And we have to be adaptive. We have to, first of all, accept the challenge at hand and quickly adapt if we are to move through this journey that we call life. In life, you will have to pivot at some point in time. And you have to remember, or we ought to remember, that not because we plan something, we prepared for it, and we prayed about it, it means that it's going to go seamless. It means that we are not going to have challenges, because that's not how life operates. And like I said, today was such a great reminder that things happen. I prepared, I planned, and I prayed about the Baltimore 10 miler. And I'll tell you, 5 miles into this race, maybe it'd be 4 or 5 miles, if I'm being honest, maybe 4 miles into this race, I felt sluggish. And I'm saying sluggish. I was not fatigued, I was not cramping, I was not tired by any means, but I felt sluggish. And my pace, I can feel my pace dropping to the point where I eventually had to walk. And I I walked countless of times. I can't even tell you how many times I stopped to walk on this particular course. And that's kind of weird because I just came out of 2 half marathons where I completed the course, continuously in good enough time for me, and I felt good about it. In one of it in particular, I didn't hit the time goal that I set for myself, but I felt good coming out of the run, right? But in this particular instance, I did not feel good at all throughout it. And of course, when you are seeing people pass you, it's easy to get discouraged, right? But of course, when you are passing others, you can get a little bit prideful and you can keep going. It kind of gives you momentum to keep going. But let me tell you what kept me going. It was the spectators. The spectators were the ones that were providing encouragement along the course. They were cheering on, they were giving high fives, they were playing music, athletes, serving athletes. I was kind of like walking alongside them. When I did walk, when I ran alongside them, and they had their boombox playing. Shout out to James. He was on fire. He had real vibes. When next I decide to go, when I decide to go and volunteer there, I definitely want to be pushing James in my cart. He had so much vibes. I veer off of the point. Anyway, what I want to say is that even when things don't go as planned in life, do not lose hope. Use what you have gathered and acquire, whether that be experiences, tools, techniques, whatever it is, and allow that to push you forward. Of course, you want to figure out what went wrong and how to avoid that same mistake in the future. Because if it is you do not figure out what went wrong so that you can correct it, you have a really good chance of repeating that same mistake again. And that's why you will hear people talk about, wisdom has nothing to do with age. Not because someone is 50 years, it means that they have 50 years of wisdom. They could be 50 years old, but yet still they have probably 10 years of wisdom, because that's where they stop growing. That's where they stop learning. That's where they stop, analyzing what works and what doesn't. So here's a lesson as it applies to life. When life gets tough and you do not see the results that you want right away, do not lose hope. Do not get distracted. Do not try to be someone else, because it's easy for you to jump out of your lane and try to step into someone else's lane when you feel discouraged or when you feel like you are not getting the results that you want. So don't be easily discouraged when you see others are progressing or they are going at a faster pace than you. You do not know what preparation they made ahead of time and why they are reaping the results that they are reaping right now. Instead, you need to stay focused, stay hopeful, and run the race that you were called to run. I hope this message helped someone today. It was definitely a humbling experience for me, and I thought I would share.